In southern Thailand lies a mysterious sinkhole, not fully explored and over 200 meters deep, and supposedly one of the homes of a mystical creature. Let's take a look at the Songhong Sinkhole in today's episode on the DiveSAGA channel. This episode has been shot on the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Stay tuned to find out how you can get a discount on your own Insta360 camera. Thailand's main religion is Buddhism, practiced by 93% of the population. It is deeply integrated into daily life, with over 40,000 temples nationwide. So as I'm visiting Thailand, I decided to do a little deep dive into the mythology behind Buddhism. And some of it might just connect to the underwater world. I was of course aware of the existence of the main figure of Buddha, but little did I realize that Buddha has a protector, a serpent-like entity, sometimes pictured with many heads, named Naga. The earliest Nagas appear in early Indian mythology, long before Buddhism, as it was found in Hindu texts like the Mahabharata, originally described as a semi-divine serpent being, living in rivers, lakes, and underground realms. In Buddhism, the Naga acts as a powerful protector of the Buddha and other practitioners. And once I knew this, I couldn't help but notice the Naga everywhere. And it just so happens that in Thai belief, the Naga also lurks in deep waters. And I know just the place. It's early morning in the Nakhon Si Thammarat province in southern Thailand. The first task of the day is to set up our dive equipment for a trip to the Songhong Sinkhole. I'm using my KISS Sidewinder Rebreather with my side mount system, so first I have to fill the canisters with sorb. Sorb, or Sofnolime, is a product that absorbs our exhaled carbon dioxide, essentially purifying the breathing air and allowing us to dive longer on the same gas supply. Of course, all the equipment needs to be tested properly. This small oxygen cylinder and a little bit of air from the side mount tanks is all we need for our 40-meter, 130-foot dive today. And then it's off to the Songhong Sinkhole. This is it, completely unassuming from the surface. Nothing more than a small puddle. But so far, explored to 200 meters, 650 feet deep, and still going. Songhong is Thai for 2 rooms, and that's because this is not just one sinkhole, there's actually two sinkholes, two lakes, two rooms. And the best part is that they're connected to one another by a traverse. And that's the part that I would really like to dive today. This traverse lies at around 40 meters, 130 feet deep, but it's not really a typical cave dive. It has a ceiling, but not a clear bottom. Whenever people don't have like a full explanation or full knowledge of something, they sometimes try to give alternative interpretations. And here in this region, that alternative interpretation to the depth and mystique of this sinkhole comes in the form of the Naga. The Naga or Nag is a serpent-like creature that basically lives in water, in lakes, in caves, anywhere where humans sort of meet the threshold of how far they can go. And it's not necessarily an evil creature, but you do need to watch out for it. It's obviously myth, but it's a very nice piece of local folklore, especially associated with a sinkhole like this that is so deep and so still not fully explored, to think that yes, the Naga is roaming here in the depths, guarding the underworld. The number one question in the comments under almost every episode is what camera we use to shoot these episodes. The answer is always the same: the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. That's an action camera. It supports up to 8K resolution at 30 frames per second or 4K at 120 frames per second, 50 megapixel photo capture, a 1/1.3 inch sensor, dual AI chip processing, a Leica lens, and a 2.5 inch flip touchscreen. And I know that it seems almost difficult to believe that I shoot all the episodes on the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, but I do that specifically of how it performs in low-light environments like today. Of course, you still need video lights because in these caves there is no natural light, but if you shoot on a flat color profile at 4K 60 with medium sharpness, bring enough light and then color grade in post, you can get the exact results you see in this episode. I will put a DiveSAGA special link below so you can pick up your own Insta360 Ace Pro 2 at a discount. This also helps the DiveSAGA channel so I can keep bringing you to more hidden underwater wonders. Time to get started. This is not an overly complex dive, but 40 meters is still on the outer edges of recreational diving. Combine that with a dark overhead environment and it gives us enough reasons to treat the dive as technical. After all, Songhong has claimed the lives of divers before, and even though it has the appearance of a simple small lake, we shouldn't let our guard down. The top layers of the sinkhole are green and murky. We can just about make out the shapes of the 6 and 9 meter decompression stations. Remember that exploration dives to 200 meters have taken place here, so these stations are not an unnecessary luxury. As we get to about 25 meters, and team leader Mika is tying off a jump line, I can't help but look down. Below us, only darkness, and no way of knowing for certain what lurks in the deep. From here, we enter a small cave passage in the walls of the sinkhole. It's not an essential passage to make it to the traverse to the other sinkhole, but it's a fun extra challenge and an interesting way to reach our maximum depth instead of just plummeting to 40 meters straight. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of rain in the past few weeks, and even here at depth, the water is unusually murky. Not that it matters much, because this passage is about to become so narrow that we won't be left with much visibility anyway. Sometimes I wonder what my mom thinks about all the things I do for fun. As if diving in the 200-meter sinkhole where the Buddhist serpent creature lives wasn't enough already. In Buddhist tradition, there is a story told about the days after the enlightenment of the Gautama Buddha. As he sat in meditation, a great storm began to rise. Rain fell, winds intensified, and the world around him turned hostile. But he did not move. From beneath the earth, something emerged. A great serpent, the Naga king Mukalinda. It rose from the depths, coiling its body beneath him, lifting him above the rising waters. Then it spread its hood above his head, shielding him from the storm. Not as a threat, but as protection. In that moment, the Naga was no longer a creature of fear, but a guardian, a protector of something sacred. Not the man himself, but what he had realized. And ever since, the Naga has come to represent something deeper, a presence at the boundary between worlds, between chaos and stillness, between the known and the unknown. We have reached the traversal point. At 40 meters, 130 feet deep, the large sinkhole connects to its smaller neighbor. I can see the ceiling at 40 meters, but I can't see the bottom. At this depth, we don't have long without going into decompression. But our rebreathers do give us a little bit of extra no decompression time. Luckily, before long, an emerald green shimmer catches my attention. We are able to start our ascent into the small sinkhole. We've only spent a good half hour in the dark, but nevertheless, the green light filtered through organic matter serves as a beacon. This sinkhole is more of a diagonal shaft rather than a vertical drop like its bigger brother. So here, all the organic debris has piled up over the years. It's worth mentioning that we checked prior to the dive whether our ascent in this sinkhole could take place unobstructed, since we would not have the luxury to descend again into decompression and backtrack on our steps. A 40-meter ascent is no fast affair. Of course, because we are using rebreathers, we are able to keep a constantly high oxygen partial pressure, avoiding decompression obligations. But it's still prudent to ascend very, very slowly, even if no stops are required. Who knows what lies on the bottom of Song Hong's sinkhole? I imagine a whole bunch of tree branches, a few action cameras, maybe even a decompression cylinder from an unlucky diver, and maybe something more. Traverse of Song Hong. Didn't see the Naga. As much as I tried to look around, I did not see the Naga. But maybe that is the point. After all, Buddhism teaches that the world we see is only part of what's there. That reality is shaped as much by the mind as by the eye.